Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. So this story has grown legs and pretty much ran away. The Matthew Stafford to the New York Giants stuff is heating up to the point where, do you think it might happen? Could it happen? What if it does happen? I'm starting to have those kind of thoughts now. And the funny thing about it is that things change. Like when I first heard the Matthew Stafford stuff, I'm like, there's no way LA's not getting rid of Matthew Stafford. Actually, I believe it all started from some kid's tweet a couple of months ago. Ethan, maybe, possibly. I got to go search that up. It started from a tweet, ended up being just absolutely fake, this, that, and it ended up not being real. Fast forward 2 months later, and it is absolutely a real thing right now. And it's not just the New York Giants in the Matthew Stafford business. It's a couple other teams in there as well. I'm hearing rumors of possibly like the Steelers, the Jets, all these other teams that don't really have a quarterback right now will love the services to acquire Matthew Stafford. Now, one of the first things that the LA Rams, or some of the news that the LA Rams wanted the New York Giants' third overall pick for Matthew Stafford. It is absolutely nuts. Let me say it again. It is absolutely nuts to give up third overall for Matthew Stafford. I'm letting you guys know that right now. For me, take that right out of your head. Take that right out of your head. You're not giving up third overall for Matthew Stafford. The guy's 37 years old. He's still, I can't say he's in his prime, but he's still a good quality, even more, better than good. He is a solid quarterback. He's still got something left in the tank, but you don't trade away third overall for Matthew Stafford right now. No. We've seen these type of things happen before. We've seen teams trade for other quarterbacks and it didn't work out. We've seen it enough. Third overall, no. I would even entertain the second round pick for Matthew Stafford. That makes me feel a little bit better, the second round pick. But I'm seeing a rumor from Paul Schwartz saying that the New York Giants, their first offer was a third rounder. A third rounder for Matthew Stafford. Let me tell you this. If you can get Matthew Stafford for a third round pick, you do it. I'm doing it. And listen, I love this draft class. I'm thinking about some of the positions that we can address with that the 65th pick in the third round. I think about stuff like that. And I'm like, that is a value. But this is Matthew Stafford we're talking about. As soon as you get Matthew Stafford on this squad, like just think about the New York Giants and their roster, especially at quarterback. The only person close to being a quarterback for the New York Giants as far as having a contract, and he's a restricted free agent, is Tommy DeVito. That's the closest thing you got to a quarterback on the roster right now is just Tommy DeVito. That's why the importance of getting a quarterback in the draft is so high right now, because all you have really right now is Tommy DeVito. Now, I've made videos a couple of weeks ago talking about different quarterback options. I talked about Jameis Winston. I talked about people that like Justin Fields. I talked about Sam Darnold. I talked about all these other quarterbacks. None of these guys are Matthew Stafford. None of them. I talked about Russell Wilson. None of these guys are playing to the level of Matthew Stafford is right now. So if the New York Giants can get this type of deal done, and I don't think a third round gets it done. I think ultimately, the Giants said, I'm going to throw this third round pick to counter the Rams saying that they want a first round pick, and they're probably going to meet around in the second round pick if a deal gets done. It has to be that second round pick. That's just my opinion. Now, if they can get it done for a third, shout out to Joe Shane for making that work. I can't say nothing about if he can get Matthew Stafford here for a third and not know any other extra crap going on. That would be a phenomenal move, and I'll tell you why. I've seen some other videos from some other content creators that I just don't agree with. So some people, not just content creators, just on social media and everything too, some people will say, well, you know what? If you get Matthew Stafford, you don't have to worry about drafting a quarterback in the first round, which is true. It is true. But some people have to think further than 2025 and 2026. Matthew Stafford is still 37 years old. He's still got a lot in the tank, but he's still 37 years old. I wouldn't be surprised if after 1 year with the Giants, depending on how the season goes, he says, you know what, I'm ready to hang it up, and retires. And look, you still don't have a quarterback. To me, I believe even if you get Matthew Stafford on the squad, you still need to draft a quarterback. Now, I will say this also. So say, you know, the New York Giants are now, we're not forced to try to trade up to number 1 or, you know, forced to trade up to number 2 to get one of these quarterbacks. I think we can leave that alone. Getting Matthew Stafford saves you some draft capital. Now, he'll cost you a second round pick or either a third round pick if we can get our side of the deal done. But he doesn't that urgency to get a quarterback right now and willing to go up and trade and lose more draft capital to get to pick number 1 overall or 2. That goes away as soon as you get Matthew Stafford. Now, I'll say this too for everybody out there. If we are able to get Matthew Stafford and we get to pick number 3 and both quarterbacks are on the board, or either one of those quarterbacks are on the board, you take it. If it's Cam Ward there at 3, you're taking him even though you have Matthew Stafford. Think about the quarterback room. You got Matthew Stafford. You don't have pressure on your rookie quarterback to start right away, and he learns under Matthew Stafford. What are we talking about here? If it's Shedeur Sanders is sitting there at 3, you take him. You take him. You have Matthew Stafford and Shedeur Sanders, and now you got your bridge, who's more than a bridge, and Matthew Stafford, who can actually win you some games. The New York Giants, I think, right away become competitive. Not saying that we're contenders, but we become competitive. And guess what else we can do with Matthew Stafford on the roster? We can absolutely find out what we have in Hyatt and Wan'Dale Robinson. We already know what Malik Neighbors is. We'll find out what we have in Theo Johnson. Maybe we start playing Daniel Bellinger again. You know what I mean? Maybe that happens. And then whoever else we want to pick up in the offseason. But the Giants getting Matthew Stafford, something that I thought was absolutely insane 2 months ago, could absolutely be a real thing. That's fantastic, man. That is fantastic. Now, the second scenario was this. You have Matthew Stafford. You don't have no pressure to trade up to 1 or 2 to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks. Those 2 guys are gone. Cam goes first. Shedeur Sanders goes to the Browns. I know he would hate that. And then now you're sitting at 3. So you already have Matthew Stafford, and you still got a chance to get the best player available in the draft in Travis Hunter. Or if you want to, you can go Abdul Carter. Or if you want to, you can go Mason Graham. Or if you want to, you can go offensive. I don't want to do offensive line this early. But I'm just saying the opportunities, the options that you have is less stress. Listen, if Matthew Stafford, if the New York Giants can get Matthew Stafford, my blood pressure probably drop. My blood pressure will drop. My anxiety will go away. My anxiousness is gone if we can get Matthew Stafford. I need a quarterback for the Giants so bad. You know who else needs a quarterback for the Giants? Malik Neighbors. Jalen Hyatt needs a quarterback. Like, everybody is throwing Jalen Hyatt under the bus. He can't do this. He can't do that. Let's get Matthew Stafford and see what we can really do with a guy like Jalen Hyatt. Now, we still got to protect Matthew Stafford. Andrew Thomas got to stay healthy. But I'm just saying right now, today, I got a little bit more pep in my step, just knowing that there's a possibility that the New York Giants can get Matthew Stafford. That is crazy to me. I'm a little bit late. I'm like I'm not the first person putting out this video. I needed this to digest a little bit. I needed to think about this a little bit because it was something that was make-believe and a fairy tale at one point in time. And now it's possibly a real thing, and it could happen. I had to think about that a little bit, and I had to think about, what would come with that, and that's exactly what I'm thinking about. There's nothing bad that comes with getting Matthew Stafford with a third-round pick. Getting him with the first-round pick, absolute insanity. But if you can get him for a third-rounder, that's probably one of the best moves that the New York Giants have made in a long time, in a very, very long time, just because of how much he has in the tank. And I haven't forgot about, and I just didn't talk about it yet, the message, the secret messaging going out with Malik Neighbors. Right after the Pro Bowl, he's out there. He made a tweet about number 9 and number 10, talking about Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. He talked about how much he can learn from a guy like Cooper Kupp. So here's the thing. Right now, Darius Slayton most likely does not get re-signed for the money that he's asking for. You have Matthew Stafford as a free agent if we can get him, and then all of a sudden you're able to get something done with Cooper Kupp. So you have Cooper Kupp, Malik Neighbors on the same team with Matthew Stafford. Now, Cooper Kupp is an older guy, and listen, it's not a package deal. I understand that. But if you need a number two, in my opinion, he's not going to cost you as much as on the market as a lot of these guys. What do you do? What do you do? How do you feel, Giants fans, if something like that happens? How do you feel if that happens? I feel fantastic. It didn't even happen. I already feel good about it. But we'll see what's happening. The goal now, is Matthew Stafford and a rookie quarterback at 3, Lord willing, whether it's Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. You get Cooper Kupp too. So you have your quarterback for right now. You have your quarterback for the future. You have your wide receiver too. And then, you know what? You got some more money to address some other draft picks. Now, the money thing is something that's absolutely different. Shout out to Paul Schwartz. He had a make-believe number saying 2 years, $110 million, I think it was. About $55 million a year. And that's not what I think Stafford is going to cost you. That is not the price, in my opinion. To me, Stafford's probably going to cost you anywhere from 35 to 40, maybe. Depending on what's going on. I don't know for sure, but we'll see what happens. But I don't think Matthew Stafford's getting $55 million. The highest guys in the league is getting 60. I don't think Matthew Stafford's is demanding 55. I don't think that. But again, we'll see what happens. It is what it is. But that's going to be my video talking about Matthew Stafford and what could be if this actually comes to fruition. And one more thing, I want to thank everybody out there that copped the new Make the Giants Great Again hat. I've never had anything sell this fast out of my shop. Much love and respect to y'all, man. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And for one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.